Microfeedback Pulse and Colleagues. Use microfeedback to help you meet your leadership development goals. Specifically, you can use the micro-pulsing feature to pulse peers, superiors, or special project team members on what they are observing with regard to the goal you set in SnapPulse, or use it for feedback on another goal you may be working on. For instance, you might use microfeedback after specific events during which you had the opportunity to visibly demonstrate that habit or skill you are developing, perhaps directly after speeches you gave, meetings you ran, difficult conversations you recently had with many team members. Depending on your goal, your pace of work, and the availability of those around you to provide feedback, some of you will likely use the microfeedback pulse function more than others. To set up a microfeedback pulse in SnapPulse, click the New Microfeedback button on the Welcome page. To go to the new microfeedback page to set up your survey, in the Name field, enter the name of your survey. Make it descriptive so that it's easier for you to reference it later if you need to. In the Feedback Dates section, set the date range during which you'd like people to provide you with feedback. Click on the Start Date field to bring up a calendar from which you can select a start date that works for you. Then set the end date for your survey. We recommend having the pulse open for 7 to 10 days. In the Question field, enter the open-ended question you'd like to send to your colleagues for their feedback. Click Add Question if you want to include more questions in your survey. For microfeedback, you probably shouldn't ask more than 3 questions. You can invite colleagues to respond to your microfeedback pulse in one of 2 ways: via a system-generated email from SnapPulse or a system-generated link that you share using your preferred method. Use the Add Colleague button to have SnapPulse to send them a system-generated email. Simply enter the name and email in the appropriate fields. You can add up to 15 colleagues here. For this microfeedback pulse, I also want to share a link to my colleagues that they can click on to submit feedback. SnapPulse creates a unique link for this microfeedback pulse that I can copy and share. Click the Save button and SnapPulse will create the link to share. To share the survey link, I would click on the link SnapPulse created to copy it to my clipboard and paste it into my email. Your colleagues can then respond to your survey by clicking on the link you sent them. If you need to edit your microfeedback pulse, go back to the microfeedback details. Here, you can use the Edit button to go back and edit your survey question, feedback dates, and colleagues. You will have the ability to edit your microfeedback pulse until the first feedback is received by SnapPulse from your colleagues.